The final rounds of the 2012 Pirelli World Challenge will unfold in Sonoma, California at the Cadillac Sonoma Grand Prix. Sonoma's beautiful wine country has a deep connection and roots for the Pirelli World Challenge. This will be the 14th visit to this exceptional raceway for this series in its 23rd year. And in many ways, it is returning home, for this is the venue where the first ever World Challenge race unfolded. But the tranquility is about to be shattered by sports car wars. We're green! Oh, and they get into each other. Look at this. They never break out. That was a great move. Oh, really swinging the back. Oh, what a move around the outside.
We're at the Raceway in Sonoma for the Cadillac Grand Prix race weekend, the finale of the Pirelli World Challenge for 2012. We're in the midst of some of the best venues in America. We've brought the best racers, and with all of the action for all four races, Greg Creamer and Calvin Fish.
Thanks very much, Jim, and indeed, it is going to be busy. We've got the finale for the GT and GTS category, 3 races coming up for Touring Car and Touring Car BCal, so those championships wide open.
Very much so, Greg. It looks like a shootout between Cooper and Lamb in Touring Car, but there's nearly 500 points still on the table, so a lot more players still in this thing. It's
going to be fascinating, and of course, we're going to... Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships are being brought to you by Volvo, the fastest-growing luxury brand in the U.S. By StopTech, world-class brake components and systems for racing cars and high-performance vehicles on the street and track. And by the Bob Bondurant School of High-Performance Driving, internationally recognized as the leading authority on driver training. Welcome back, everybody, to California's wine country in the Cadillac Sonoma Grand Prix, the final round of the 2012 Pirelli World Challenge Championship, and we are now ready for the GT and GTS combined race. Good crowd on hand for this one. We're looking forward to a great race. Johnny O'Connell looking awfully good for the championship, but lots yet to unfold here at this tremendous venue. Been a couple of little changes, and we're looking forward to it, as is a huge crowd. Now let's take a quick look back at some of the highlights during the course of the season, which started on the streets of St. Pete and where it was a Porsche and a Ford in victory circle.
Then on the granddaddy of them all, the Long Beach Grand Prix, it was the caddies to the front. Andy Pilgrim scoring his first GT victory of the year, and Jack Baldwin in GTS.
At Miller Motorsports Park in Utah, coming together between the two Kias allowed Andy Lee to come home with a great win.
At Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca was Mr. 6-time Petey Cunningham, his first win of the year.
On the streets, the mean streets of Detroit and the Motor City, it was an O'Connell and Lee sweep.
In Motorsport, it was a Skeen sweep, and in GTS, Kias to the front.
And most recently at Mid-Ohio, it was all Volvo with a great run by both of their drivers. Randy Pope claiming an important win. Now, that brings us into this final round of the championship and our Motul race analysis. The starting grid, a big one, 32 cars. The weather, 77 and sunny, and of course, low humidity out here, about as perfect as it gets. The track cal, 11 turns, 2.3 miles.
And it has been reconfigured. That's why we don't see any new lap records for this year. There you see the previous marks. And as we look at that track map, looking down at the Motul braking zone, it's at the newly reconfigured turn 7. It's much more of a hairpin. It's no longer a double apex turn, and we're going to see a lot of action here today. Most of these cars in the GT and the GTS machines will be getting down at that 200 mark, and then it's all about keeping it clean through a very tight part of the racetrack.
Should be spectacular, as should the racing as a whole here at this great facility. Always wonderful to come back here. There is a look at the grid as it is forming up, as we are getting ready to go with this finale, the 12th round of the championship for the GT and GTS machines. And as always, the celebrations, the grid and the grid walk open to the fans, always a special time. Let's take a look now at our Pirelli storylines, and one of them is Petey Cunningham going for a 7th World Challenge Championship, which would be his 10th SCCA Pro Championship. And Johnny O'Connell, Cadillac, and Acura have already clinched championships. O'Connell, the drivers, Caddy, and Acura, the manufacturer championships in the 2 different divisions that are going to be running today. Pretty remarkable stories unfolding already, but lots of racing yet to come here.
Well, certainly some championships have been decided, but Pilgrim and Post in GT for second. That'll be close, as well as Andy Lee and Jack Baldwin in GTS.
That, my friends, is a flyover right there. Let's take a look at our Motul Pole Award winners. In GTS, Jack Baldwin won a championship, clinched it right here in 1992 in Trans Am in a Hot Wheels car, and he now has got his first ever World Challenge pole position. Congratulations. And in GT, it is Alex Figge earning his second career pole, but his first since Mid-Ohio last year. And we caught up with him shortly after qualifying in the paddock.
I mean, obviously, we hope to be in the same position at the finish. I mean, they're sprint races, so obviously, you know, the pole is the place you want to start in these things. But you know, there's a lot of traffic and there's a lot of really strong cars, so, you know, it's certainly going to take a little bit of work. But, you know, to have a pole and a win to finish it off to what's been sort of an up-and-down season is would be really terrific. And I think just to have both cars on the front row with the, we have a really special sponsorship this weekend with Alex's Lemonade stand. For childhood cancer research, and I think just the photo op alone of having both cars on the front row is a big deal. So we're happy with that, but obviously won't be completely happy till maybe 2 podiums at the end of the day.
Might as well have those expectations high when you start up front. Now, Cal mentioned that this track has been reconfigured just a little bit, which makes those corners and others around this track so vital. So now let's check in with our champion in waiting, Johnny O'Connell, for a look at Cadillac's key corners.
This is the Cadillac key corners here at Sonoma Raceway. Charging up the hill, we're in 5th gear, coming into turn 2, down to 3rd gear. A lot of elevation change here, really presents a lot of challenges for our engineers. Up into 4th gear, great combination that we're coming up into. Hard on the brakes for 3, kind of float the car over here. 3A, road falls away from you. Now hard onto the brakes for turn 3. Bring it in tight to our apex and accelerate out to a really fun part of the racetrack. Coming into the very famous carousel, the car gets very light. We drop down to 4th gear, but really try to maintain our momentum. Looking for a super late apex in this 4th gear corner, then flat out. And then for a great overtaking area, turn 7, hard on the brakes, down into 2nd gear, bringing it in. But this is tight. This is like the hairpin at Long Beach. Very difficult to put your power down. Now a great part of this racetrack, the S's. Through 8, we're up into 5th gear, nice and tight to our curve there, back to full throttle for 8A. Then another great overtaking area, turn 9, very wide, down into 2nd gear, nice and tight on that curve. On 9A, accelerating out into 3rd gear, into 4th gear. Then we come into the braking zone for turn 11. Once again down to 2nd gear, bringing our car into a tight apex, opening our hands up, 3rd gear, 4th gear, 5th gear, and once again, we pass start finish, and that is a lap of Sonoma Raceway.
And that is a track in its current configuration that all drivers consider a real driver's track. It's now time to get this one underway. So once more, let's head down to the front of the grid this season with Jim Verpel out of Cadillac.
On behalf of our friends at Optima Batteries and everyone at Cadillac, our dealers and all of our employees worldwide, welcome to the Cadillac Grand Prix at Sonoma. Drivers, start your engines.
And for the final time this year, the GT and GTS machinery spring to life. All of that horsepower in that wide variety of race cars. There's a look at the Pirelli World Challenge's official pace car, the beautiful Volkswagen Jetta GLI. Have been a great partner to this championship throughout the season. Now let's get to our starting lineup. Overall on a GTS, it's an all Volvo front row. Alex Figge on pole, joined by teammate Randy Pobst. As we go to row number 2, as I said, it is a champion-elect. Johnny O'Connell essentially has clinched it in his Cadillac Racing CTS VR, but Andy Pilgrim battling for second in the championship. And one of the men he's battling inside of row number 3, Lawson Aschenbach in the Privacy Star N-Trust Porsche, joined by Patrick Lindsay in the Hawk Performance Chevrolet Corvette, only his 3rd start of the year. Then Brett Sandberg in the Monticello Motor Club Porsche, and Brandon Davis in the Privacy Star NDA Guides Porsches, filling out row 4. Row 5 is Anders Hayner in the Under Armour Audi, and David Welch returning in the GoPro Stop Tech Ferrari. Moving to row number 6, Mike Skeen in the Hawk Performance Nissan GTR, continuing that development, and we welcome Mike Hedlund in the Global Motorsports Group Porsche. Row number 7, Tony Gaples in the Kleinschmidt Black Dog Speed Shop Chevrolet Corvette, a second here in 2005, and Jeff Courtney in the Kenda Tires Wreck Stuff Porsche. And finally in GT, it is Fred Roberts in the Direct Energy Viper and Craig Stanton in the debut of the Evo Sport Mercedes.
On row 10, on the GTS pole for the first time, Long Beach winner Jack Baldwin in the Hot Wheels Porsche Cayman, and Motorsport winner Mark Wilkins in the Kia Motors America Optima alongside. Title contenders on row 11, Andy Lee in the Best IT Chevy Camaro, alongside the veteran 6-time World Challenge champ P.D. Cunningham. Row 12, it's 5-time World Challenge champ Michael Galati in the Kia Motors America Optima, and coming off a great run at Mid-Ohio. Nick Hussain in the HPT real-time Acura. Young Alec Udell heads up row 13 in the LaBeouf Brothers towing Mustang, and the Intimidator returns Lou Gilotti in the LG Motorsport Chevy Camaro. It's Roger Miller in the Larry H. Miller Ford Mustang alongside Brad Adams in the Voodoo Mustang on row 14. And leading row 15, it's Harry Curtin in the second of the best IT Camaros alongside Justin Bell in the eBay Motors Mustang, looking to bookend the season after wins in St. Petersburg. Row 16, the very impressive Brian Hyde-Cotter in the Nissan GT Academy 370Z alongside Rick Boucher in the SPL Pro Nissan. And on the final row of the grid is Don Ishtuk in the Revo Technique Audi TT alongside Vafa Kordestani in the Kordestani Ventures Maserati Trofeo.
And there you see the beautiful Nissan GTR safety car for this event. And of course the GTR in a developmental program this season in the Pirelli World Challenge. And for more on that, here's Ron Stukenberg.
Nissan is proud to be the official safety car of the Pirelli World Challenge. And this weekend, we're even prouder to be able to have the Nissan GTR as the official safety car of the series.
The Nissan GTR is kind of like a new muscle car. You know, it's a big car, but lots of power, very muscular in its design.
This has been a developmental year for the GTR team, and every race they've made more and more strides. The reputation of the GTR and its performance draws the people to it. They've read about it, they know how fast it is, and in many publications it's picked as one of the fastest production cars out there.
It uses a production chassis, has a stock OEM V6 twin-turbo engine. We change it to rear-wheel drive to get the weight down, go to a sequential transaxle, but other than that, it's very similar. The Nissan GTR is very well received by fans, especially at Long Beach. We had a huge following there, and at Laguna Seca as well. It's been really cool seeing the GTR community come out and check out the car.
And it is a spectacular looking as well as performing car. We look forward to that. And when we come back, we'll show you some great onboard shots to be watching as this final round of the GT and GTS Pirelli World Challenge Championships continue. And of course, the legendary standing start. Don't go anywhere. The Pirelli World Challenge, the most intense and unique sports car racing on the planet. Multiple classes running at the same time, but in a sprint format. Some of the world's top manufacturers and the world's best drivers, all beginning with standing starts. It is truly Sports Car Wars. For series and event ticket information, check out world-challenge.com. To watch replays of all the intense action, check out world-challengetv.com. And always check it out, Pirelli World Challenge on Facebook. A fascinating 2012 Pirelli World Challenge Championships about to draw to a close with the Cadillac Sonoma Grand Prix. At Sonoma Raceway, a mega challenge to driver and team alike. Great crowd on hand. We are ready to go. There is the standing start getting set. But first, let's go to our race keeper, Kia Quad Box Cal.
See some great looks today. Top left of the screen, we're on board with Don Ishtuk, 15th in GTS on the grid, alongside Rick Boucher, 14th in GTS in the Nissan 370Z. Bottom left of your screen, and Alec Udell will start 7th in GTS, LaBeouf Brothers towing Mustang, and Jeff Courtney will start 14th in the GT class in the Kenda Porsche.
Kenda's 50th anniversary, so a big celebration on hand here as well. And we are just about ready to go. There's Kathy Malik. When she holds up that 5-second board, she will move in a hurry. We've already seen, I believe, the green flag at the end of the grid signifying the grid is clear. There it is. She will exit stage right. Remember, those wheeling lights go on. When they go out, we go racing for the final time in 2012. Watch for it. It's a Volvo front row. Watch for the launch. They're both away, and look at the starts, Cal.
Wow, as you expect, that Volvo all-wheel drive just leaps those cars into action. The perfect start for Figge and Popst.
And you can see Welch's Ferrari sort of a little slow getaway, and it stacks some of the GT competitors up. Oh, Pat Lindsay in the Hawk Performance Vet, real wide, Cal, but was able to hang on to it and actually got a great drive out of that turn.
He did. He's now putting the pressure on Oschenbach, who had one of the caddies slide inside of him in turn 2.
Oh, and Brad Adams in the Voodoo Dog Mustang has had an off over in the gravel. Looks like he is able to continue. Meanwhile, it's Volvo's 1-2, Cadillac's 3-4, then Oschenbach, then the Vet. And, oh, that's Nick Hussain, and he looks broken. That doesn't look just stuck, Cal.
No, he's coming off such an impressive performance at Mid-Ohio, where he had a runner-up finish, equaling his best of the season, but early problems for Nick.
Boy, did you see Andy Pilgrim just leave a big black tire stripe coming out of that carousel? He was talking earlier in the weekend about how awesome it is to drive this track and throwing those long wheelbase caddies around to get them rotated. Big fun.
Absolutely. Remember, Andy's a man on a mission. Right now, Randy Pope's closed up that gap in the points from second to third with that qualifying performance on the front row. Andy Pilgrim can see him, but we see the yellows coming out early, Greg.
Yep, the double yellows, that's obviously for Nick Asayan's wounded machine. And, well, you wonder if that didn't happen with Adams, who both were, and Nick Asayan got a little squirrely. It looked like he may have contacted a Kia to start it.
He did. He was trying to get in there, and then suddenly he gets it a bit wrong, and then he gets an Adams. We saw Adams get turned around, but for sure there must be damage to the left side of Nick's car.
Now you can see that hard hit a little closer with that onboard shot. There's Adams getting the ride.
There's the innocent victim there.
And for Nick, he is parked at the side of the track, so that's why we now are under a full course caution, which gives us an opportunity to take a look at our Optima batteries best standing start, and it goes to Don Ishtuk from the Revo Technique Audi. Great launch.
Well, he made it, Don Ishtuk did. I mean, a brilliant standing start. Then he takes the outside move around turn 1 and then to the inside of turn 2 where we see the carnage over to the left.
And as a result, moved up 7 overall spots in the opening lap, gets the Optima batteries best standing start award. There you see the damage to the right rear of Brad Adams, Voodoo Dat Dog Music Mustang. We're here at Sonoma. Last year he had 2/5, one of his best weekends, not starting out this way this year. Here's our current leaders. It's Alex Figge leading overall in a GT, Andy in GTS.
Visit ArthurMurrayLive.com for details.
Coming up for the restart here at the Cadillac Sonoma Grand Prix for the Pirelli World Challenge Championships, the season finale, heading up into that reconfigured once again turn 11. And you can see tight opening radius and then onto the front straight and that bending turn 12 leading to the start finish line, and the field starting to build speed, Cal.
I really like that newly reconfigured corner. It makes a lot more sense to me.
Oh, look at that attempted jump right there by Aschenbach.
Yeah.
And while he went that way, Lindsay trying to go around the outside, which could set him up nicely if he can stay there up into this turn, into 2. Does he make it work?
Had to jump on the anchors there, used all of the curb to get it slowed down. Remember, these Pirelli tires aren't completely up to temperature and probably got a little bit of pickup on them right now.
On board now with Mike Skeen, the Hawk Performance Nissan GTR. He's been sort of flipping back and forth between this car and the Corvette. Nice move there down to the inside of Dave Welch in the Ferrari, the GoPro Ferrari, and he makes the pass. And I'll tell you, this team just continues to try and work and develop that Nissan GTR. Very fast and powerful as a street car, heavy in terms of some of its components to turn into a race car, but they are determined, and we're seeing progress. Meanwhile, boy, that big power slide there by Pat Lindsay enjoying the ride in that Corvette.
Look at Aschenbach, though. He's really starting to put the pressure on Johnny O'Connell, who's been demoted from the 3rd position, now running 4th by his teammate Andy Pilgrim. That may be a little bit of team orders there. Johnny's got the championship clinched. They want to ensure that Pilgrim is 2nd in that championship.
Nice move there. You saw by the 99 of Jeff Courtney down underneath and picking up a spot as well. And that's absolutely right, but they're looking to get the 1-2 in the championship for drivers, but their big focus, of course, the manufacturer's title, which they've all but clinched. They just need a good, solid run bringing the cars home, and that is always on the mind. Get that 3rd championship for Cadillac after titles in 05 and 07.
Look at Lindsay
good battling
there.
Here, yeah.
Yeah, Lindsay was thinking about going to the inside. Aschenbach immediately defends that, so this is the car, that True Speed Porsche that Pat Long won here with last year.
And you know, there's also a new car to the program this year, and it is the beautiful Maserati Trofeo Grand Sport. Here's the owner and driver.
We're putting a team together. It's called Kordestani Ventures Racing, and this is a 2005 Maserati Trofeo, and it was raced in a GT4 series in the kind of like the Ferrari Challenge, Maserati Challenge in Europe. There's only 3 of these cars in the US. There's a new cars coming in September actually here, so we'll be driving those as well. So it's a nice little car.
Beautiful little car and an absolutely great addition to the series as they continue to suss it out and get ready for 2013. Meanwhile, let's take a look at our iBox suspension cam. Always some great looks, this time again from Petey Cunningham's Acura.
We can now say he is a 7-time World Challenge champion. By taking the green here today, that clinches the championship. And the reason being he's a champion is because he and that team really get the suspension working well on this Acura TSX.
It handles so well. They've got the power to go with it this year. It's been a very strong season. Amazingly, it'll be his 10th SCCA Pro Racing Championship over the course of his remarkable career. And as you can see, though, things not going too great for him at this point in terms of the win. He sits 2nd. That is Jack Baldwin's Hot Wheels Porsche right there. That's set on the pole and is opening it up. But Andy Lee is chomping in that Best IT Camaro.
He really is. He wants another win this year. He's had 3 wins. Been a brilliant season for the young rookie, but he'd love to go onto that top step of the podium. So he's putting the pressure on Petey. Baldwin looks very comfortable out front now.
Yeah, Andy Lee, it's tough to believe this guy's a rookie. He's got certainly some race experience, but you come into this championship at this level, and to put together the season he has with his team has been truly remarkable. And look at the hunt, and then the two Kias behind him are also by no means out of this yet.
Now they're still in the mix. Wilkins started from the front row. A lot was expected of him here today, but didn't get the best of starts. Here we see some action coming off turn 11.
Unbelievable. Looks like maybe once again some contact with Brad Adams. Boy, it's gone from bad to worse for him. Meanwhile, this battle for this ninth spot in the GT category is Skeen and Welch. Remember, Skeen made that pass on Welch, and now Welch seems to have found something and is coming after him.
Down into turn 7, slips down to the inside. So cool to see these brilliant cars represented in this series. That Nissan, the Ferrari, two pretty cool machines.
Well, that's the world in Pirelli World Challenge. Great diversity here. Let's take a look at what may have happened. We saw the problems with Brad Adams. And there you see that's Miller. Then the 16 right there of Alec Udella. He's got some damage right there. And watch what happens here. Ooh, a big hit, Cal.
Wow. On board with Brad Adams there, just got in really deep down in the hairpin. There's another Mustang involved there. I think that's Roger Miller to his right. He's lost the suspension there, I think, and just turns into Roger Miller. Nowhere for him to go.
We wonder if that first hit may have been something left over from that early contact with his sand and may have damaged some components. Meanwhile, you see Andy Lee has gone around P.D. Cunningham, so second place has changed. A little bit of debris on the track offline. They're letting it go right now, but it's Lee second, Cunningham third, but up front it's still Baldwin, and then the first of those two Kias coming after. We got a waving yellow in this turn, but that is a local yellow just for this incident. As you see, Miller's car sitting there. Boy, that is not a good spot, though. I can't imagine they're going to let this one go at this stage. But here you see that battle for second, and Cal, we're going to go back and take a look at this pass from an onboard perspective.
There we see it on board with Andy Lee there. PD almost like hands him the door wide open there. I don't think he wants to fight him too hard this early in the race. He's probably just going to manage his tires. He realizes by seeing the green flag here today that he has clinched that championship. Now it's up to Andy Lee to go and chase down Jack Baldwin for potentially second place in the championship.
And as expected, we are now under a full course caution for the second time in this race. So in GT and overall, it's Figge, Popes, Pilgrim, and O'Connell, the Volvos and the Caddies. And in the GTS category, it's Jack Baldwin from the pole, Lee now second, Cunningham, and Wilkins in the Kia fourth. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships is being brought to you by Motul, the official lubricant and brake fluid of the Pirelli World Challenge, by Eibach, the world leader in high-performance suspension, and by Kia Motors and the turbocharged 2012 Optima SX, not your average midsize sedan.
The K-Pax Racing Volvo S60. 2010 GT drivers and manufacturers champions. Pirelli World Challenge contender. And competing against some of the top brands in the world. And best of all, it's available in our take-home version.
Sports Network.
Coming back for the green flag once again here at the Cadillac Sonoma Grand Prix, the season finale of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships. And this field is hungry and barking. There is your GTS leader. Continues to be Jack Baldwin, who'd actually stretched things out a bit, Cal, and now he's lost that margin. But look at the field stacking up behind the Volvos.
Yeah, they do. They want to try and take advantage. There's no standing start for the Volvos to get their launch, so a rolling start is a bit more of an even platform with them and the Caddies.
Boy, and Skeen in that Hawk Performance Nissan thought he had something trying to go around the outside of Welch down into turn one, and just not quite able to get that pass made. Those two Volvos hang on to the lead, then the two Cadillacs, and then the rest of the field barking at him as they head up the hill here. And you know, it's this kind of racing that is so much fun, and you can be a part of it on a fantasy level. Enhance your World Challenge racing fun by visiting world-challenge.com/fantasy league. It's presented by the Bob Bondurant School of High Performance Driving. Join the league today for your chance at a 4-day Bondurant Racing School program valued at $5,000. Good luck, folks, and it is a blast.
Skeen continuing to put the pressure on Welch here. This has turned into a fascinating battle here. There we see the leaders coming down. Pilgrim really close now on the tail, on the bumper of Randy Popes. He wants that position badly.
Boy, he is working him over. And for Figgy, when you look in your mirror and you see a teammate behind you, and sort of the same story right now as Pilgrim looks in the mirror and sees O'Connell behind him, that's comforting.
It is. It's nice to have a wingman, but I think Figgy is really hooked up this weekend. He said he's tired of getting pipped for the poles and wins by Randy Post, his teammate. Time to make a statement.
And let's go back and watch the GTS battle. Look at Andy Lee, as I talked about with Baldwin in that Hot Wheels Porsche Cayman, losing that margin under the on the full course caution. Andy Lee in that Best IT Camaro is coming up strong.
And speaking of margins, after the qualifying points of yesterday, Baldwin has the second place in the championship, but by a mere 2 points over Lee. Whoever finishes in front of the other will get that spot.
And right now, the two Kias still run 4th and 5th, and Kia Scott McKee earlier explained that it's an international program with a homegrown base.
Kia's first season in the Pirelli World Challenge has exceeded our expectations. We're relatively new to racing, and we're racing against storied brands. We had 2 wins and several podiums, and we showed that we have the speed we can challenge for a championship potentially next year. The World Challenge helps to showcase our U.S. presence because we're racing the cars that we built here in the U.S. Kia Motors Manufacturing Georgia is one of the most technologically advanced facilities of its kind in the world, and these cars and their performance is a product of that. On the C-pillar of both cars, you'll see a little Built in the USA shield. And on the back of the car, we have a decal that says, "Thanks KMMG team members." About 3,000 team members down there who are thanked for their hard work because these cars came off the line as a good platform to go racing with. We're hoping to put on a really good show for the fans here at Sonoma Raceway to show what these Kia Optimas can do and really showcase the hard work that's been done by the team members down in our manufacturing plant. We're racing for them this weekend.
Well, it's been a great season, and you also have to give some credit to the folks in Kinetic Shops in Georgia who have fielded this team and have done some pretty remarkable things in their debut year.
Absolutely. Nick Johnson and Russell Smith head up that group, and they've done unbelievable work.
And speaking of good work, Andy Lee continues to impress. You know, this is a champion caliber driver who's won championships and a variety of things, including awfully high horsepower machinery. And Andy goes, you know what, I'm going to loosen that bumper up just a little bit.
Well, he didn't actually touch him there, Greg, but he's been putting the heat on, and Baldwin seems to have lost a little bit of pace right now, so I wonder if he's got some kind of issue with his car.
Well, it sure looked a little sketchy going over the rise into the carousel. That, now, folks, was the pass for the GTS lead. And keep in mind, Andy Lee came in here a whole 2 points back in that 3rd spot. So that is a huge moment. And boy, is Andy Pilgrim starting to put pressure on Randy Popes. Figgy's getting away just a little bit.
He is, and talking to guys who are losing pace a little bit, either Figgy's turned up the wick or Popes has got a little bit of a problem. Now he's getting in that zone where he's going to have to defend a little bit from Andy Pilgrim, who seems to be really hooked up right now.
Yeah, and of course, you know, you wonder, is this track getting a little greasy? You'd think that's where those all-wheel drive Volvos would really shine, and maybe that's what's happening with Figgy. Whatever the case is, we've got some great battles unfolding. It is Figgy still leading overall in GT, and it is now young Andy Lee leading in GTS.
What if we told you that...
Closing in on the end of the season here for the Pirelli World Challenge Championships, 12th and final round, the Cadillac Sonoma Grand Prix continuing to unfold, and we got some close racing, Cal.
We do. You saw Johnny O'Connell there on the very exit of turn 6 get a little slide going on, and Oschenbach is putting the pressure on. Side by side there, coming off the hairpin.
Oh, and Oschenbach, realizing Johnny was probably going to shut the door, backed out of it just a little bit. But Johnny right now looking just a little bit vulnerable. And obviously he's still got a little bit of rewards weight on the car, although not quite as much. But these two guys putting on a great show.
Yeah, it's been a great battle between the Porsche and the Caddies all season long. Lawson had to miss one round of the championship, cost him in the points. But Johnny O'Connell came into this championship with one mission: to win.
Oh, and look at this attempt move down the inside. Johnny saw him coming. Faded a little wide. He may have got off in the marbles, and looks like Oschenbach is through. Does he hold it, though?
Very tight there as you try and pinch that corner a little bit to shorten the road up to turn 1. But good, clean driving by two of the best in the business.
And, oh, Pat Lindsay has had enough. Damage to that left front corner. Looks like everything underneath is working, but the body work has been seriously deranged.
Yeah, and that's just going to drag on the floor. He's probably going to have to park it there. So Oschenbach makes that move. This is for 4th position right now on the road.
And Johnny in that Cadillac can't lay back at all, because coming up hard line astern is the Monticello Motor Club Porsche from True Speed of Brett Sandberg. Great qualifying run in 7th, now running in 6th. and on the move. Now, problems during the break for our GTS pole sitter, Jack Baldwin, headed down into pit lane. Here's a look at it, and Ashley Van Dyke was there, caught up with one of the crew members. And Ashley, what are you finding out about the issue?
Apparently it was a flat tire. Tell us what happened and how that puts you guys in position for points.
We still assume that we're going to be third in points. We did pick up something on this tire. You can see the puncher, and we're going to do as best we can. We're hoping for a caution. Maybe we can make our way back up. So.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, frustrating day, obviously. It clearly had some great speed, looked like they were in great shape, and then to have that happen. But Andy Lee continues to lead, even with a little wrinkle to that left front corner. And you know what? There's plenty of ways with social media networking for you to stay in touch with what's happening at World Challenge. How about world-challenge.com for all the latest news and views, or world-challengetv.com. Cool in-car video, driver interviews. You can watch this race and all World Challenge races right here. Or on Facebook, search World Challenge GT, GTS, and the Touring Car Series. And finally, Twitter. Join the World Challenge Twitter account at twitter.com/WC Racing. Great racing does continue. We'll look at the battle for second. Here is your overall and GT leaders. It's Figge over Post, Pilgrim and Aschenbach now in fourth. Andy in GTS. Andy Lee leads it over Cunningham. Wilkins and Galati completes the top four.
It's too late.
We're back right in the middle of the roller coaster ride. That is Sonoma Raceway for the Cadillac Sonoma Grand Prix, all part of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships, the season finale. And this is becoming an intense battle. And this one, Cal, is now that second place is looking like it's under threat.
Absolutely. Post has his defense. Sort of shallow entry there to the hairpin. Can Pilgrim get the power down now on that caddy? Acceleration off the hairpin. Still the all-wheel drive with the Volvo. Keeps the position.
Yeah, even with that great approach in and the defensive line by Post, you got 4 drive wheels launching you. Andy's going to have to get it done. And he's thinking about it right here. Boy, and that was definitive.
Yeah, I think the man caught Randy Post by surprise and nice and tidy there through the chicane. Brilliant move by Andy Pilgrim. It was a late move, but he kept it tidy through the chicane. Now he's just got to defend here down into the hairpin.
I seem to recall Andy doing that at another race earlier this year, and Randy was so appreciative of the pass that a competitor laid on him. He called it surgical, and it was indeed that. Boy, an absolutely great move. And look at Lawson Aschenbach has joined this battle as well. This has now become a 3-car battle for this second spot. This is some pretty intense stuff. You know, one thing, Cal, we've been seeing this season, and we've seen it here certainly, is new cars coming into this championship. It's exciting.
It really is. We're seeing the Nissan GTR, the Audi R8 really being developed in the GT class. And this weekend we have an exciting new entry in preparation for the 2013 season, Greg.
Indeed, Cal, it's the MBBS EvoSport Engineering Mercedes program debuting here with plans for 2013. Earlier, we asked Ashley to check in with the team and give us an update on their progress.
Team manager Evan Chance with EvoSport Engineering making the debut for the Mercedes-Benz AMG Black Series this weekend at Sonoma. Evan, what's the perception been of the car this weekend by you and the fans?
It's been good. A lot of people have been very interested in our car, and a lot of things have been happening to us. I mean, we've come here, we've got a good car, it's performed well. We don't expect to come and win straight away. We just want to be in the championship, represent Mercedes, and in the future we're coming again next year, and we hope to gradually dispose of Cadillac and maybe Volvo and be a real competitor in this series.
Well, you love the optimism. You got a great engineering program, but you also got a world-class driver helping out.
Yeah, Craig Stanton knows how to get the job done. I'm not sure they're going to dispose of Volvo and Caddy, but certainly give him a hard time.
Exactly, and there you take a look at the beautiful Volvo. And you can see on the side there's that yellow panel. That is Alex's lemonade stand, and they have taken on a very important role with this team. Volvo is a founding corporate partner of Alex's lemonade stand, which was founded by a young girl who had been diagnosed with cancer, and at 4 years of old, she created, Alexander Scott did, Alex's lemonade stand to say, I want to raise money to give to doctors to help cure people. When she passed away in 2004, Cal, already $1 million had been raised, and it's grown exponentially since then.
$55 million is now the total. That is incredible, and what a great inspiration she has been.
Oh, without a doubt, and there's something fitting, isn't it, that Alex's lemonade stand sits on Alex's car, as Mr. Figge is trying now just to hang on to the win, because in traffic, Andy Pilgrim has gobbled him up.
Well, he's driven the perfect race so far. Started the race from the pole, a brilliant standing start. But right now, through traffic, Andy Pilgrim has eroded that lead and is now right on the tail of Figge as they head into turn 6.
Boy, and there's nothing that Popes can do as he's back in that traffic, and Andy really starting to steam up behind at this point right now. By the way, Alex did get fast lap a bit earlier, but you could see him. He wanted to swing out, and then went, oh, Andy might make that move down in. And now it's just get all those wheels working, get the drive out. He does that to perfection, and Pilgrim drops off just a little bit. We are close to the end, and overall right now, up front, it is Alex Figge on point in GT, and in GTS, it's Andy Lee. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships are being at work. We are down to the final few laps of this 2012 Pirelli World Challenge Championship season, the season finale, the Cadillac Sonoma Grand Prix, and it couldn't be more exciting. Look at this. It is still Alex Figge leading in that blue and yellow Volvo, but that silver Cadillac of Andy Pilgrim all over him. Randy Popes has rebounded a little bit in traffic and has been able to close that margin up just a little bit, but he's got Lasse Aschenbach right behind him in that True Speed Privacy Star N-Trust Porsche as they head up the hill. It is some fantastic racing, a great way to end the season, Cal.
It really is. This is a fascinating battle here for the final few laps of the championship season. Figge really has an advantage accelerating off those hairpin turns, but Pilgrim seems really strong on the brakes.
So it's all about Figge managing it in a way here at this stage now. And we are, as you take a look now, you see some of the Kias. We're getting into some of the GTS traffic. And one thing that has been happening at GTS is Justin Bell in the eBay Motors Tiger Racing Boss 302 started 12th in class, has been auguring his way up through the pack and is finding himself knocking on the door right now of a top 5, maybe better, as he is closing some great racing. But of course, watching what's unfolding here, there is P.D. Cunningham, who is not in it for the win right now in GTS in this race, but looks to be pretty well locked down for a remarkable 7th championship, Cal.
Look at Figge there again, just off that turn 7 hairpin. He just leaps about 2 car lengths away from Andy Pilgrim, and then you watch down into this brake zone. Pilgrim will narrow that advantage right there. He's got to get really tight through the chicane. Look how close he is now. Now he needs to try and get a good launch off this one and use those brakes to good effect down into the turn 11, the final turn.
And you think Randy has radioed the crew and said, tell Alex to watch Andy down into that chicane. He got me from a long way back there. Be ready for it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, certainly Figge wants his 2nd career win. He had that brilliant win at Mid-Ohio last year. It's been a long time waiting for the 2nd one. Final lap, white flag is out.
And look at the launch he got that time, and boy, did he pick the right moment to be able to stretch it just a little bit. That's about 6 car lengths at this stage, and just a beautiful piece of driving. Alex said, you know, coming in here, he said, I want this one bad. He said, as you pointed out, I'm tired of being just pipped by Randy. He said, I'd like to finish one strong, especially carrying Alex's lemonade on the car. And boy, has he done a brilliant job.
Done a great job. Now it's all down to traffic. Do you get them in the right places or the wrong places? Pilgrim will be hoping that maybe some of that GTS traffic can balk our leader a little bit and give him one last chance.
And of course, Alex has to be very happy that now when Andy looks into the mirrors, he sees flashes of blue and yellow in that other Volvo, that he may be keeping an eye on that as well. And they're coming up. That is your leader in GTS, Andy Lee, on his way to a remarkable rookie season and a class act as well. He's got lots of racing experience, and he stayed out wide, saw the yellows, knows he's got a lead, didn't interfere with that race at all.
Fantastic performance by Andy Lee. This will be his 4th victory of the season, while promoting to 2nd place in the points if he can just hang on. But Figge now, just a couple of corners to go.
And of course, let's not forget, it'll be Rookie of the Year honors for Andy as well, with those remarkable stats. Into that chicane for the last time, and there was no attack there by Pilgrim, as Alex had him covered there. Now, for the final time, down into turn 11. This tight, then opening radius corner. And if Alex gets into it well, he should be able to drive off of it well. Looks good, rolls into the throttle. The final race of the season for GT and GTS is complete, and it is Alex Figge and Volvo, their 3rd straight win after sweeping at Mid-Ohio. It is Pilgrim into 2nd. That will give him 2nd in the championship. And there is Andy Lee with a great run, wrapping up 2nd in the GTS championship behind P.D. Cunningham. What a day.
What a day, and it is so sweet to finish the season with the win. We have a very long off season here as we await the 2013 season. That is going to be sweet for Alex Figge tonight and for several months to come.
And of course, a Manufacturers Championship for Cadillac, a Manufacturers Championship for Acura. And here's an interesting stat on Andy Pilgrim. He is the only driver who has driven Cadillacs in every year they have raced in the Pirelli World Challenge Championship. That is pretty remarkable. And as the field enjoying this final cool-down lap, let's look at the results. Figge, Pilgrim, and Popes, the overall podium. Aschenbach, fourth. O'Connell ends up fifth and champion. Sandberg, a great run. Brandon Davis joining for this one. And you go back a little bit, you see some of the guys that had some issues, of course, with some problems. And Patrick Lindsay with that crash being out of it. Here are the unofficial results in GTS. Andy Lee with the win. As you pointed out, Cal, his fourth, and Cunningham and Bell. He got him on the last corner, the last lap is the report for the podium. Unbelievable, remarkable stuff. But our winner today is Alex Figge. He is down in victory circle.
Hard day's work.
I mean, happy to have it over for sure. I guess it looks like that was Andy behind me putting some serious pressure. Those cars are really strong as well. I just couldn't be happier. I really needed one this season, and we brought it right down to the end. We were close a few times, and I'll tell you, it's pretty comforting seeing a teammate that races the caliber of Randy Popes in your mirrors for the rest of the for the most of the race.
Well, let's take a look at the GT Drivers' Championship points presented by Volvo. O'Connell gets it. Pilgrim, Popes second and third. Aschenbach and Figge. Let's hear from our champion.
2012 GT champion, Johnny O'Connell. Great show.
You know what an amazing year. You know, well, we debuted last year. We had a good car that we developed into a great car. And so really, you know, my expectations this year were high. You know, I worked out over the winter, and all I thought about was winning the championship. So the fact that we were able to pull it off, I think, says a lot about the dedication that everybody put in, but mostly engineering staff at Cadillac Racing. You know, right now, Cadillac is reaping the rewards of a lot of hard work, and you know, I'd like to consider this to be the first of what will be many championships.
Well, a great year by Johnny O'Connell with his success, and the rest of the Caddy boys, they clinch the Manufacturers GT Championship. Volvo in second, Porsche third, Corvette and Nissan round out the top five.
And now let's take a look at our Cadillac CTSV move of the race, Cal.
Down into the final corner is Lawson Aschenbach on our champion-elect Johnny O'Connell. A nice move, moving him up into the fourth position.
Great day for Lawson Aschenbach. Great season. Had he not missed that one race, who knows? But he ends up with a Cadillac CTSV move of the race. Here are some celebratory donuts from Andy Lee after he came by and picked up the checkered flag. He has now made his way down into winner's circle with Jim Martin.
Wow, tremendous race. They made you work for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to have a good battle there at the end with Jack Baldwin. But something went wrong with his car. I'm not sure what it was. And then after that, I was out there by myself, and I thought, man, I'm just going to set down a qualifying lap every single lap if I can. So I was pushing as hard as possible just to stay focused. And, you know, when you're that far out in front, it's hard to not think about how you're going to celebrate. So the whole time I was thinking about what kind of donuts I'm going to do or what I'm going to do when I get back. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Our team, the best, man. Our sponsors, Best IT, you know, Crown 7, Bondurant, all these people, they're amazing. And I can't thank them enough. Great job.
And our GTS Drivers' Championship points presented by Volvo at season's end. Cunningham, Lee second, and Rookie of the Year, Baldwin, Galati, and Nick Kasayan. And now let's get down and hear from our 7-time champ.
Pirelli World Challenge, GTS Series champion, the Manufacturers Championship for Acura as well. P.D. Cunningham, congrats.
Awesome day for Acura, real-time HPD. You know, the whole real-time crew. Since the beginning of the year, they've been prepared every weekend and ready to go. And it's a very close battle all year until things kind of got blown out a little bit at Mid-Ohio, so it wasn't so tough this weekend. But all our other sponsors, Ibach, Redline Oil, BuyBrakes.com, couldn't do it without those guys. So just want to thank all of them, and I just get to do the fun part.
Let's take a look at our GTS Manufacturers Championship presented by Kia. It's Acura on top, Ford in second, Chevy third, Kia and Nissan round out the top five.
And time for a look at our Sunoco Hard Charger Award. It was an easy one. Justin Bell started 12th, ended up third, so picked up 8 spots overall. A remarkable drive, Cal.
It was a great drive through the field, getting that final podium spot on the very last lap, getting around Mark Wilkins. And that is a brilliant drive by JB. Nice bookend on the season, having taken double victory at St. Pete.
And our Kia turning point of the race, basically Alex Figge's start put him in the lead and in a position to control it all the way to the finish and to win, and especially carrying Alex's lemonade stand on the side of the car. A great day indeed. Now let's take a look at our Motool Fast Lap Award winners. In the GT category, Alex Figge, not a surprise, what a day he had. And Jack Baldwin, even before his problems, the pole sitter, nails the fast lap as well. And a look at our final Manufacturers Fan Championship standings. And once again, the fans for Cadillac came out big time at this venue. They have been there all season long, and we're strong again today. So the Cadillac fans win the Manufacturers Fan Championship. And as we take a look at our final Kia Rewind for this season, Cal, some great moments, some great memories, some phenomenal racing, and a lot of promise for 2013.
Absolutely. New manufacturers coming on board all of the time. Some brilliant races, some good, hard, but clean racing throughout the course of this championship year. But sometimes you can see it gets a little bit crazy.
Well, it is intense racing after all. There are always so many people to say thank you to. Certainly to the crews that field these remarkable cars, to all of the sponsor partners that help make this championship happen, to the fine folks at IMS Productions for putting these amazing shows together. But by far, the most importantly for us to thank are you, the fans, who have joined us not just here today, but all season long as this championship has unfolded. It's been an honor. We look forward